Hey, Coach Chris coming to you from the office today instead of the red chair, but we're going to talk today about intimacy. And this is an excerpt from the red chair experience. So pull out your books. Let's check it out. Intimacy. Communication is a continual balancing act, juggling the conflicting needs for intimacy and independence. To survive in the world, we have to act in concert with others, but to survive as ourselves, rather than simply as cogs in a wheel, we have to act alone. That's a quote by Deborah Tannen. Too often when we think about intimacy, we think about the sexual side of things. We think about the things that we're not supposed to talk about in public, right? But intimacy is so much more than that. I was talking to one of my daughters when she was at school, and she was telling me about one of her favorite classes, and it was called intimacy. And I had to hold my breath. I was like, where is she going with this? What do I want to hear this? But she was eager to talk about it. And here's why. The class was actually about how to communicate better, how to be more intimate when you communicate. And so she was telling me about how they were having these deep conversations, and she really enjoyed learning how to do that. And she was shy, and she struggled a little bit with communicating with people, a little bit of an introvert, right? But so she was learning how to communicate effectively with people. And so she got this opportunity with school to learn how to do that, which I thought was really cool, right? But so we talked a little bit more about it and tried to figure out what it was that she really liked, and how she what she got out of the class and what she was learning, and how she took that to the next step, right? With her friends, her family, all of that stuff. So she was learning how to be more intimate by asking the right questions, by delving into these communications with the right attitude and the right heart, and going forward with it, right? So what about you? How do you communicate? How are you intimate with other people? And for the longest time, I struggled with this. I grew up in a household, again, with all men. My parents got divorced when I was young, and when we grew up, it was my dad, my older brother, and my younger brother. And the four of us, we did a lot of stuff together. We hung out all the time. The intimacy that we saw was, I'm going to provide food for you. I'm going to provide a shelter for you. I'm going to let you use the truck this week, right, to go out with your friends. But there wasn't a lot of deep intimacy that we got into. We didn't talk a lot about deep things. We didn't talk a lot about the things that were hurting us. My dad's dad died when I was a sophomore in college. And I know that was hard on my dad, but I don't remember him getting upset or crying. I don't remember. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't remember it. And again, we never really talked about it. We didn't talk a lot about his dad and their relationship and what was going on. And so growing up, that was the kind of input that I got, right, on how to be this type of person that I was. And so as I was a young man and I got married and had kids, and I didn't want to be like my father growing up, because I wanted to be more expressive. I wanted to be with my kids and tell them that I loved them and show them that I loved them. And so I did those things, and I got the opportunity to do those things, but I still wasn't fully aware of how deep this intimacy thing would go. And so it wasn't until much later that I learned how to really be intimate. And I'm not talking about sharing deep, dark secrets with people, but at the same time, it's, are you able to be vulnerable? Are you able to share things that are uncomfortable for you, and not necessarily seeking people's approval in doing so? So when you're out sharing things, you're not going, oh, I hope they like me. Well, sometimes people don't like the things you share. Sometimes you share things that people don't like to hear and don't want to hear. And that's okay. But that's all part of being intimate, right? That's part of being vulnerable, and allowing yourself to let others come in. And so I got to see these things and learn these things at a young age. Well, fast forward here now to this week, and I'm talking with my clients and with friends, and we're having these conversations. And the thing I'm realizing this week is some of them were touching on some very delicate things, some very intimate things, right? And again, it's not super sensitive, secret squirrel kind of stuff, but it was things that were hard to share, right? And you start to have these conversations about things that are going on in your life, or they're sharing things that are going on in their life, or like with one of my clients, I'm having this conversation and they're feeling overwhelmed by the things that they need to do. And quite frankly, there were things that needed to be just a step of intimacy, right? Getting a little bit deeper in these conversations. And it wasn't very difficult, but again, it was clear that that was a struggle, that these were things that weren't easy to do. And so as a young man, I would run away. I would do everything I could to keep the emotional stuff behind me. And I know I've talked about this before, but where you just have to keep running forward, right? So it doesn't catch up with you. But part of feeling feelings and part of being intimate with others is the ability to feel those feelings, is the ability to get deep with, hey, I'm really struggling with this, and that being okay, right? Getting rid of the negative mindset in your head that just comes out and goes, oh my gosh, I've got to keep all this stuff under wraps, and I've got to look really cool, and I've got to look really tough, and have this exterior and all these other things. And it's so far from the truth, right? We don't need to be that way. We get the opportunity to be intimate with other human beings, and intimate meaning communicating, meaning getting to a deeper level, meaning trying to figure out how do we share things with other people in a vulnerable setting and be okay with it, right? Don't listen to the trash in your head that basically runs through and says, oh, hey, I can't share this because then they're going to hold that against me. No, true intimacy doesn't hold those things against you, right? The love and all that comes from that, good relationships, they don't hold those things against you. But that's part of being vulnerable, right? Part of being this, as we're talking about, intimate, right? So I got to see these things and hear these things and talk through these things this week. And as I did, it was interesting and really amazing to me how we get the opportunity to be these people, and still it's a struggle, right? Every step we take towards being more and more of this person that we want to be, we still have struggles. We still get to run up against this fence in our head that says, I can't share that. And then when you work through it, you go, it's really not that big of a deal. And then you get to the level where everybody can have these good conversations, and you get to learn so much more about people. You get to be there for people, right? That's part of being close to other people, is you get that opportunity to be there in times when they need you, and vice versa, right? And they'll be there in times when you need them. That's what intimacy is all about. That's what the closeness and the vulnerability bring about in the relationships that we get to have. And so as we go through this weekend, and as we go through our next week or weeks and months, and whenever you're watching this, get the opportunity to be that person that other people want and need in their lives, and that you want and need for other people to be in your life. So think about that as you're going through your weekend, as you're going throughout your week, as you're talking and communicating with people. Are you being vulnerable? Are you being the person that you really want to be, and not this surfacey person, but really somebody that can be intimate with others, and not in a weird way, not in a way that puts people off, but in a way that actually makes sense, in a way that actually draws people to you. And I believe that that's some of the greatest leaders of our time, are these people that have this ability to make you feel like you're the only one there. You're in a conversation in this very intimate setting, even though there's hundreds of people around you, but it's just you and them, and you're having this conversation. And because of that, you are drawn to them, and people are drawn to you as you have these conversations. So go out, have those conversations, be vulnerable, learn to be intimate. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye for now.